Hey, if you're watching this, dope. And this is random. It's so random, but at the same time, it's not random at all. This has been bubbling underneath me for quite some time. And I don't really believe in coincidence. I think this is coming out when it needs to, when I'm ready for it to, ready to share and express in this way. But, if you're watching this, that means you have some resonance with me. I think that is so awesome. There is some aspect of me that really maybe reminds you of yourself, or you feel in tune with it. And it's such a beautiful and powerful thing. This is In the Meantime. That's the name I'm going with for now. And that name came to me some years ago when I was in the thick of it with myself emotionally, one of those dark night of the soul type vibes for years. Like, that's literally what it felt like. Just this unraveling of everything that I thought I was, and just, it's so deep and so juicy. I'm sure I'll get to that at a, different video, different time. Anyways, In the Meantime is just kind of this thing I came up with because I felt like everyone, and I still feel this way, and that's exactly why I made this. I was just so tired. I felt so exhausted of just like seeing people be so not real. Like, I missed seeing real life on social platforms. I feel like it's so fabricated, and it is so written out, and it lacks flow, and life is flow. And I was like, I want to make something where I and other people can just feel comfortable. Typically this is it's like podcasts tend to do that, right? Because it's life. And I think this could be a form of that, but like at the same time, I just want to be myself. And I knew if I were going to be on social media, I was not about to put myself in another position to only be one aspect of myself. I think that drove me insane, and it festered for so long that I just had to remove myself completely. And I said, if I'm going to be back on here and I'm going to do these things, sure, I can entertain, and sure, I can dance and make music and this and that, but I will not miss the truth, the underlying truth of my essence, that person that, people get to know over time. That's what I missed. I didn't want people to just think I was this outward forward person. I am that, but I'm also very, very, very calm, very laid back. And I'm sure that'll translate, how it needs to. But my partner and I got this Airbnb for the weekend. We wanted to just get away and break away from the normalcy of our routine. I think it's really important to invest in yourself in ways that you're able to do that. This could look like a retreat. This could look like just a random getaway. This could be doing something you don't typically do, like going to a new restaurant. So many different things I could list there. But yeah, we just wanted to break out of the habit and put ourselves in a different environment that inspired us in different ways, made us feel different things, and also to shoot some photos and some videos and feel what it felt like to be in a space that, is, I would say the space is much more, it's wealthier. Let me just say that. It's just wealthier. And I love putting myself in spaces that I can feel what that lifestyle is like. I live a very nice lifestyle, but, we all have things that we strive for and ultimately have in mind for what we want our lives to look like. And so, yeah, we got this Airbnb because it just felt so nice. And we were like, yo, let's feel this. Let's experience this. So here are some photos and some footage from, shooting her, and what I shot around the house. As you guys may or may not know, I'm actually a full-time photographer while I also still make my art, and shooting has been a huge part of my journey, for years now, literal years. So here are some of my favorite shots that I got from our time. Here in this corner first for some shots. At an angle, and then I think some sitting on the countertop, and each fits, so we can do this. We're gonna move one of the chairs out. You can sit here, it looks super cute, and we'll get it this way. Okay. And then I also feel like the same thing with trying on to kind of like show off the fit. Maybe think of like just 3 different poses so they all look the same. You can swap them back and forth. That was fire.
I miss it, those days when nothing ever really mattered. So willing to give it all deep into you, might just shatter now. You're scared of time, gotta beat the clock now. It's all up to bright. Tough luck, babe, struck out when you had about 30 chances. One bad day, now you don't know how to pay for the damage. I don't wanna cry if I'm gonna fall back. It's a waste of time.
So something that has been on my mind, it comes to my mind all the time, honestly. I think it's because it's such a big part of my life, to express fully, in all sense of that word, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever you feel called to do, doing it and learning from that experience, whether it takes you closer to what you think you want, or maybe you find out what you think you want isn't what you want, but expression. Nevertheless, I've had just so many conversations with friends, and coworkers even, who have trouble expressing themselves. And, it ties into so many things. It could be trauma, it could be circumstance, it could be relational, it could be a mental block, it could be a spiritual block even, if you want to take it that far. It could be ancestral, something that just kind of got passed down to you and you took the weight of it. And I think about a wave, like literally a wave flowing, whether you're flowing with your arm, a wave of the ocean. And when I think of this wave, it literally embodies life to me. Like, I mean, in all sense of that too. It's water is life. So let's go with water. Think about a water wave. If you think about something else, that's cool too. But like, that wave never stops flowing. Literally, the only way it could stop flowing, in fact, is if it wasn't here. And it's up and it's down, it's in between, it's filling every single crevice, but nevertheless, that wave never stops moving. And when I think about people who want to, or they have a desire to express themselves artistically, creatively, vocally, whatever it be, and they have a block there, I think about this wave. And I think, oh my gosh, like, it makes me sad, because I see that wave of life, that infinite wave of life flowing. And every time we stop ourselves from expressing whatever that thing is we feel we need to express or want to express in a moment, we fall flat. We flatline. We run into a literal wall. Like, think about you can't put the ocean in a box. You know what I mean? You could take a piece of it, like a little, milliliter of it, and put it in a cube. And I guess in essence, that's what we do when we stop ourselves from flowing how we want to flow, or stop ourselves from expressing in a moment what we want to express, thinking we need to be someone different, thinking we need to do something different first, thinking we need to be at a better space in life first, thinking we need to have so many things figured out before we do something first. And I feel like that is born from so many things, and comparison being one of them. It's like, I am not enough, therefore I cannot express myself yet. And it's like, if we do that for the rest of our lives, we're dead. We didn't live. There is no living. There's no learning. There's no growing. And it's almost as if people are afraid to fall down, fall flat, go backwards maybe, to see the potential of whatever they create in their head. So they don't move. So it's like, I'm looking at a bunch of flatlined people, and they're like 25 years old, and that is sad to me. That's, it's in part a whole reason of like letting myself flow, showing people the flow. I feel like there's a lack of realness. There's a lack of self-diving. There's a lack of learning ourselves. And it's like, how are we supposed to learn even more about ourselves? How are we supposed to get further if we keep like flatlining? We keep we're running in place, in essence. Every time we think we want to do something and we don't do it in that moment, that thought is inevitably going to come full circle again. And we're going to be looping, and kind of like this cyclical pattern is going to happen until we allow for ourselves to do whatever that thing is, so we can at least hop into maybe a different circle. Like, there's infinite circles is what I'm trying to say. Just like there's infinite waves, they never stop moving. But every time we stop and we don't do whatever that thing is, or we don't even pause the way we need to pause, we're going to keep just running in place, literally. And we're going to be presented with multiple opportunities, if we're granted, to wake up another day. But we're going to be presented multiple opportunities to stop that cycle and hop into maybe a more favorable cycle. But most of us, we stop our own wave from flowing. And it's literally us, And I guess, I don't know, I just felt like kind of saying that because it's really important. It's an important part of everyone's journey, to at least those of us who are like actually alive and have a heart and can feel it. It's really important to let ourselves express and flow how we need to flow, and not beat ourselves up for flowing. You know what I mean? And that's a big part of it too. We don't allow for ourselves to be what we need to be without literally tearing our own selves down. So a big part of this is your mental process, how you think about yourself. But, a lot of us, we don't treat ourselves very kind. And because of this, we have a very negative self-talk, and that negative self-talk will literally stop you from living. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I've been there so many times. I've done it to myself so many times. I've seen the repercussions of when I don't, I've seen the repercussions of when I do allow for myself. And obviously, every time I have moved past and done the most I can in a moment to learn the why behind why I'm doing what I'm doing, I have every single time come out with something that I've learned, something more favorable to help me on my journey. And if I don't allow for myself to flow or do whatever that thing is, I am stopping myself in my tracks from growing and being everything that I could be, desire to be, see in my dreams even. So if you feel like that has been you, I suppose this is more so just, this is for you. It's a reminder for myself as well, but let yourself. And even after you do it, try your best. Take some time to not like harp in this negative space of like, oh my gosh, I just did this thing. What's going to happen next? Like, what are people going to think? Like, stop. You need to focus on yourself. Slow down. Focus on yourself. Be there for yourself. Know that that's enough. And keep it pushing. You know, we weren't meant to harp on like these freaking thoughts or things that we do. It's like, if it flows through you, let it flow and let it go. Keep it pushing. There's no need to really look backwards. But I mean, if you want to look backwards, you can, and there's still a lot there for you to learn. But like, after you create something or after you express something, you know, keep going, because we're flowing like that wave every second of every single day. And what would the ocean look like if after it produced one wave, it said, ooh, instead of producing another wave, I think I'm going to keep looking at this wave behind me. There wouldn't even be an ocean. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't produce anything. It wouldn't be momentous. It wouldn't be full of this magnitude, because it says, nope, I just produced one wave and I think I need to stay here because the possibilities of what someone might think if I keep producing waves, or like what people might think if I go anywhere else aside from this one wave. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. I think you get what I'm saying. Yeah.